Chapter 8. False starts mean better friends. Alright, you three, tell me the story. Officer Jenny seated us all down in a concrete room without any windows. Actually, only the thief and I were sitting. The other man was leaning against the wall behind us sullenly, and Officer Jenny was pacing on the other side of the table. All three of us convicts were handcuffed. One good thing, however, was that I had been allowed to keep my Pokemon, both Dez and Carlita. I didn't know which of them was actually mine, but I'm sure that the nice officer would help us with that. If her glare didn't kill us first. No one's talking?
I don't see why we were all three arrested,
the man behind me muttered. I squirmed in my chair, silently agreeing.
I was doing a public service. That man is a wanted thief, and he has a reward, right? I just wanted to turn him into the long arm of the law and get that money.
It wasn't a dead or alive warrant, Jenny snapped. You tackled him, broke one of his fingers, sprained a wrist, and caused a scene. Who knows what else happened?
He wouldn't let go of the Pokeball.
What Pokeball?
It was a Nummel's. I think it belongs to the newbie.
It took a few moments for it to register that he was referring to me. When it did, I shrunk down in my chair more. Why did he have it then? She asked, nodding at the thief.
I assumed he stole it. He is a thief.
I traded for it, fair and square, he said, speaking up for the first time in his own defense. No, you didn't, I muttered darkly, glaring at him sideways. You stole Pedestal. Pedestal? Officer Jenny repeated, blinking. I shut my mouth immediately, flushing. She sighed, rubbing her temples. Here, we're all civilized people here, aren't we? Why don't we take turns telling the story, and then we'll see if there's an ounce of truth in any of it. I was chosen to go first, probably because of my age and my apparent victim label. Not that I was complaining. This was a bad enough experience, I didn't need blame either. But I sucked it up and told the truth, and was an honest trainer. More than either of the other two. By the time we were all done talking, and arguing since we naturally had conflicting reports, my stomach was growling and my throat was sore. It had to have been late, though there wasn't a clock and my cell phone had already been confiscated. It seemed as if the thief really was a well-known petty thief, and that the other man was out for his reward. Apparently, that was the thief's style. Trade illegally until he got a rare Pokemon, and then sell it on the black market. I considered myself lucky that he was caught, even if it wound up with all of us in jail. Why did you three have to cause such a scene then? I could tell that the officer was getting tired of us. I thought, rather naively, that that was a good sign, that maybe she would let us go then. Oh, to be young and innocent.
It wasn't intentional.
He started it anyway. All three of us spent the night behind bars. My two Pokemon, or one, whichever, were confiscated at last, and I didn't get a last meal either. I didn't bother wasting my phone call. I curled up under the thin blanket on the hard cot, vowing to never, ever again get in trouble with the law, even if it really wasn't my fault. That thief would be better off hoping that he never met me in a dark alley, either. The next morning, the bounty hunter and I were released. The thief wasn't. I seemed to be the only one happy with this, since the bounty hunter never got his reward, and the thief, of course, ended up in jail. It served him right, though, trying to steal my Dez. Then, just as I was exiting the station, a thought hit me. I looked down at the two Pokeballs in my hands. Officer Jenny! I hollered, heading right back inside. What is it? Oh, it's you. You're free to go, you know. She looked up at first, but her expression dulled again once she saw that it was only the kid she'd mistakenly arrested. This one, the Shroomish, it kind of isn't mine. Now that I'd been stolen from, I didn't want to steal from others, even if it was only karmic retribution. I would be sure to stay on the light side of the law for the rest of my life, or until I needed another Pokemon, maybe. Who does it belong to, then? I don't know. The thief said he'd traded for Carlita, so does that mean he scammed someone else? Here, give me the Pokeball. She set it on the machine and tapped a few keys on the computer. I fidgeted nervously, rolling Dez's ball back and forth in my hands. It seemed to take forever, and I didn't even know what kind of response I was expecting. I really didn't want the Shroomish, even if she did look like an evil little gremlin, to go back into someone's hands that weren't her rightful owners. Plus, if the thief got her back, he'd just steal someone else's Pokemon with her. Well, it seems as if any records of the Pokeball or the Pokemon inside have been wiped. It'd be impossible to trace its original owner now. So, then what? Officer Jenny looked at her computer screen, frowning faintly. She tapped her chin with one hand, the other hitting a few more keys. It rarely happens, actually, so we don't have an official protocol. We could keep it here and hope the owner comes back to claim it, but I doubt that would actually happen. The con man has been all over Sinnoh, so the original owner probably isn't anywhere near Jubilife. Plus, it looks as if it was a fairly newly captured shroomish, so unless it was meant as a pet, the owner probably hadn't gotten too attached to it. I didn't process what she was saying, not on any deeper level. I just stared, rolling Dez's Pokeball between my hands, trying to figure out what would happen to Carlita. You could give her to the television company. She can dance, I said, a bit stupidly. Jenny looked at me for a few long moments. Very rarely are Pokemon happy with a career on television unless their trainer or owner is with them. She wouldn't be very happy, I think, she replied quietly, finally taking the Pokeball off of the machine. Then immediately she brightened. Let's ask. Huh? Before I could protest, the mean little Pokemon was released again, right in front of me. I edged away as Carlita turned to eye me with evident disdain. Yet again I held Dez's Pokeball out in front of me, until recent happenings kicked me mentally, and then I hit him behind my back. See? She likes you. That is like? Growlithe, ask her what she wants to happen, Jenny commanded, and the canine jumped down from the stool beside her. It sat down beside the grass Pokemon, bushy tail wagging, and barked a few times. The Shroomish replied in a high, somewhat squeaky voice, looking back and forth between Officer Jenny and I. At one point, she even repeated her dance, much to the Growlithe and Officer's delight. When Carlita was done, the Growlithe said a few things more to its owner, and then happily jumped back up in its spot. I had no idea what had just happened aside from the dance. Apparently, Carlita liked to dance. She was a mystery except for that simple fact. It made me laugh, so I had to bite the inside of my cheek. I doubted the officer would appreciate it if I cracked up in the middle of the station. The Shroomish says she doesn't want to go to the television station. She would like to travel with you. You are the closest thing she has to a trainer right now. The statement was punctuated by a backwards look from Carlita. She didn't look very happy about this, but maybe her emotions were like Dez's. Hard to read. I sure hoped so. Really? I asked, quite aware of the fact that I had vowed to find a grass Pokemon. I just hadn't meant for it to be a Shroomish. But, like Dez, Carlita might turn out to be a gift, right? A good Pokemon. Yes, really. So now I had Pedestal, the Numel whose name reminded me of my habit of hoping. In addition to him, now I had Carlita also, the dancing Shroomish. She twirled on over and knocked over the mental pedestal the Ivysaur had been placed on. She and Dez were a surprise for me. I had never expected either of them to be on my team just a sparse 2 months ago. I would never, ever make the mistake of hoping for a super awesome Pokemon right off the bat. Not ever again.